Good evening, guys. I am very glad to meet you in another webinar. In this webinar, we are going to study about the heat treatment methods. So, heat treatment is a very important process in all the metals before it is going to machine. So, in this webinar, I am going to teach you about the heat treatment methods. So, first of all, what is heat treatment? So, heat treatment is a series of operations involving the heating and cooling of metals in the solid state. So, when we are doing the heat treatment, its mechanical property will be improved. That is, the strength of the metals will be improved, and also its ductile properties will be improved. So, heat treatment is a very important process for all the metals, such as the mild steel and high carbon steel, HSS steel. So, as I told, heat treatment is a very important process for making the metal very softer and more ductile. So, this is a furnace. In this furnace, the metals which is going to be under the heat treatment will be placed inside the furnace, and it will be flame hardened or electrically hardened. So the temperature will be given, that is, heat will be given by using the flame or by the induction furnace, that is, electrical based muffled furnace. So heat treatment is the set of heating and rapid cooling, or heating and slow cooling. So different types of heat treatments will be there. That heat treatments, types of heat treatments, we are going to see one by one. So before that, the purpose of heat treatment is to improve the ductile properties of metal and to relieve the internal stresses which will be inside the microstructure of metals because of the heating, and to develop the grain size refinement. Grain size refinement means the size of the molecular structure of metals will be refined. Then to increase the strength and hardness of the metal, and also, as I told, to improve the machinability and toughness of the materials. So these are all the purposes of the heat treatment methods. Now, what are the main factors to be influenced during the heat treatment? First one is temperature. So temperature up to which material is heated. Second one, the length of time that material is held at the elevated temperature in the furnace. So the temperature is very important factor, and also how long it will be inside the furnace. That is also the important factor. Third one is rate of cooling. So how the cooling will be done, very slowly or very rapidly. So that is rate of cooling. That is also important factor. Then last important factor is the surrounding atmosphere under the thermal treatment. So surrounding atmosphere will be a air medium or liquid medium. So that is the also other one factor. These are all the factors influenced the heat treatment process. Now we are entering the very important session, that is types of heat treatments. First one is annealing, second one is normalizing, third one is hardening, fourth one is tempering, and next one is surface hardening. So in this webinar, we are going to see first four methods, that is bulk heat treatment, that is annealing, normalizing, hardening, and tempering. Surface hardening is very vast process. That is, the case hardening or surface hardening is a very important types of outer surface hardening that we will see in other webinar. So in this webinar, we are going to see these four important inner heat treatment process only, that is annealing, normalizing, hardening, and tempering. So these above four processes, we are introducing different types of cooling mediums. So mediums may be air cooling or oil cooling or water cooling. And the quenching means the dip of the material, that is dipping the material in the medium, that is the quenching process. So in the air medium, quenching is very small, so hardness is also small. But in the oil medium, quenching process is moderate, so hardness is also moderate. In the water medium, quenching is very large, so hardness is also large. So during annealing, material is cooled in air or heating furnace itself. So keep in mind that very important point is, in the annealing process, we are going to cool the material in the air cooling only, or before doing the air cooling, the metal will be kept inside the furnace, and in the furnace itself, cooling will be done. That is the annealing process. But in the hardening process, material is immersed in the water or cooling oil or very liquid bath. That is cooled liquid bath. So that is the hardening method. So now we are going to see in depth about the different types of heat treatment process, that is annealing, normalizing, hardening, and tempering. First one is annealing. What is meant by annealing? Annealing involves heating the materials to a predetermined temperature and hold the material at a temperature and cool the material to the room temperature slowly. So in the annealing, we are going to heat the material in the furnace itself, and in the furnace itself, cooling will be done first. Then in secondarily, the cooling will be done in the outside of the furnace, that is the open atmospheric temperature, that is open air cooling. So heating of the material at the elevated or predetermined temperature and holding the material at the temperature for a longer time, then very slowly cooling the material to the room temperature. So in the diagram, we can see hardened material and annealed material. So annealed material will become very soft and ductile, but in the hardened metal will become very tough, but it will not be ductile and it will not be soft. So that is the difference between annealed metals and hardened metals. So the purpose of the annealing process is to relieve the internal stresses developed during solidification, machining, forging, rolling, or welding, and to improve or restore the ductility and toughness, then to enhance the machinability. So applications of annealing is the heat treatment of gears, heat treatment of rail wheels, and heat treatment of different tracks of rails, that is uh, rail track materials. So these are all the applications of annealing. So the purpose of annealing. So the purpose of annealing is to obtain the material with very high ductility and also a microstructure with coarse spear-like, and also to purpose of the full annealing is to become very soft and very ductile nature. So in this diagram, we are going to see different types of annealings. There are four types of annealing. First one is full annealing, second one is process annealing, and third one is stress relief annealing, and final one is spheroidizing annealing. So first one, we are going to see the process annealing. So process annealing means the heating the steel up to low critical temperature, that is 723 degrees Celsius. So up to 723 degrees Celsius, we are going to heat the material, then slowly cooling inside the furnace and the cooling of metal in the open atmosphere. So the purpose of this treatment is to reduce hardness and to increase ductility of cold worked steel, so that further working may be carried very easily, like machining and forging. Then second one is full annealing. In full annealing process, the steel, that is low carbon steel, is under this full annealing process. In the low carbon steel, the annealing will be full annealing will be given up to heating the material to up to 900 degrees Celsius, then slowly cooling. But in the medium carbon and high carbon steels, the annealing will be done in the constant manner, that is 800 degrees Celsius, and it will be kept in the furnace up to 800 degrees Celsius for several timings, that is for 1 or 2 hours. Then it will be taken from the furnace and it will be slowly cooling in the open air atmosphere. So that is the full annealing process. Then stress relieving annealing. The stress relieving annealing is done to remove the internal stresses that will be held in the internal structure of the material. So these stresses are developed in operation like solidification of castings, welding, machining, grinding, shot peening, surface hammering, cold working, case hardening, electroplated coatings, precipitation, and phase transformation. So after doing this process, the stress relieving annealing will be done to relieve the stresses inside the materials. So after giving the stress relieving annealing treatment, the materials will be very soft and it can be easily machinable. So this is the stress relieving furnace. So the metals which are going to under the stress relieving annealing are first the heat will be applied by using the flame in the inside the materials. Then we have to stop the flame, giving the flame, then it will be slowly cooling inside the furnace and it will be kept in the open atmosphere for further cooling. So the process of stress relieving consists of heating materials uniformly to a temperature below the low critical temperature, that is less than 700 degrees Celsius, then holding at this temperature for sufficient time. After that, it will be followed by uniform cooling in the room atmosphere. So under the cooling is of utmost importance, as non-uniform cooling will itself result in the development of internal stresses. Thus, the very purpose of stress relieving will be lost. So plain carbon steels and low alloy steels, generally temperature is limited to 600 degrees Celsius. High temperature is used for high alloy steels. So plain carbon steel, low alloy steels, and high alloy steels are subjected under the stress relief annealing. So next one is spheroidizing annealing or recrystallization annealing. In this annealing, cold working operation, the material becomes harder but loses its ductility. This implies that to continue deformation the material needs to be recrystallized. Hence, recrystallization annealing is used as an intermediate step in deformation process. Next one is spheroidization annealing. This is a very specific heat treatment given to high carbon steel. So the application of spheroidizing annealing is to heat the high carbon steel requiring extensive machining prior to final hardening and tempering. The main purpose of this treatment is to increase the ductility of high carbon steel. So long-time heating leads cementite plates to form cementite spheroidize. So the spheroidizing annealing will give very ductile material. So next one is normalizing. So normalizing also similar to full annealing, except steel is generally cooled in still air. So normalizing consists of heating the steel about 40 to 55 degrees Celsius above the critical temperature. That is up to 800 degrees Celsius. Or for low carbon steel, up to 900 degrees Celsius, the low carbon steels will be heated. Then it will be holding for proper time inside the furnace and then cooling in still air or slightly agitated air to room temperature. So this is the normalizing process. After normalizing, the resultant microstructure should be pure light. So in upcoming iron carbon equilibrium diagram webinar, we are going to see what is pierlite, what is ferrite, what is austenite, what is cementite. Since the temperature involved in this process is more than that for annealing, the homogeneity of austenite increases and it results in better dispersion of ferrite and cementite in the final structure. So from this diagram, we can see that normalized steels are generally stronger and harder than full annealing steels. So normalizing is the effective way to eliminate the carbide network. So steels are soft in annealed condition and tend to stick during machining. So by normalizing, an optimum combination of strength and softness is achieved, which results in satisfactory level of machinability in steels. So because of the normalizing, we can achieve the refined grain structure and uniform structure, and also we can decrease the residual stresses and we can improve the machinability of the metals which are under the normalizing. So third one is hardening. Hardening and hardness are two very different things. One is a process of heat treatment and another is a extrinsic property of a material. So hardening is a heat treatment process in which steel is rapidly cooled from austenizing temperature. As a result of hardening, the hardness and wear resistance of steels are improved. Heat treatment generally consists of heating to hardening temperature, holding at that temperature, then followed by rapid cooling. So the difference between the annealing and hardening is that annealing, while the annealing process, the metals will be heated and will be cooled inside the furnace and in the open atmosphere. But in the hardening process, after heating the metal, the cooling will be done by means of quenching in oil or water or salt baths. So that is the difference between annealing and hardening. So the hardening temperature depends on the chemical composition. For plain carbon steels, it depends on the carbon content alone. Hypoelectric steels are heated to about 30 to 50 degrees Celsius above the upper critical temperature, whereas eutectoid and hypereutectoid steels are heated to about 30 to 50 degrees Celsius above the low critical temperature. hardening is applied to cutting tools and machine parts where high hardness and wear resistance are important. So all the machine tools like cutting tool, parting tool, grooving tool, and some milling machine tools are uh, hardened. So hardening is very applied for all machining process tools. The steel should be heat treated to optimum austenizing temperature. A low temperature results lower hardness due to incomplete transformation to austenite. So during the hardening process, after soaking, the steel is immediately quenched. Delay in quenching may reduce hardness due to partial transformation of austenite. So mostly hardening is applied in the machine tools and also the gears. So spur gears, helical gears, and bevel gears are also under the heat treatment process of hardening because the gears will be meshed with another gears, and also uh, during the operation time the matting parts will be touched to one another. So hardening will be improved. The hardening will improve the gear teeth. The life life will be improved in the spur gear, helical gear, and bevel gear because of this hardening. Then last heat treatment process is tempering. Hardened steels are so brittle that even a small impact will cause fracture. So toughness of such a steel can be improved by tempering. So tempering is a subcritical heat treatment process used to improve the toughness of the hardened steel. So after hardening, the tempering will be done. Tempering consists of reheating of hardened steel to a temperature below low critical temperature and is held for a period of time and then slowly cooled in air to room temperature. So the tempering temperature, carbon atoms diffuses out and form fine cementite and softer ferrite structure left behind. Thus, the structure of tempered steel consists of ferrite and fine cementite. So the tempering temperatures are usually identified by the color. So in the diagram, uh, so that depending on temperatures, tempering process can be classified as low tempering, low temperature tempering, that is 150 to 250 degrees Celsius, medium temperature tempering, that is 350 to 450 degrees Celsius, then high temperature tempering will consist of 500 to 650 degrees Celsius. So these are all the heat treatment process. Mainly we have studied about the annealing process, normalizing process, hardening process, and tempering process. In upcoming webinar, we will see about the surface hardening methods. So what are all the surface hardening methods, how the surface hardening will be done in the next webinar. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure you've subscribed so that you can get the regular updates. Use the feedback link in the description to get your certificate. Thank you.